going into my basketball. Every time I rock, man, this is how we rap and raw. Peace to my man, now we got the camera out. Every time I spit it, cross over the...
All right, hello everyone. This is Josh, also known as Yashu, and you're tuning into episode 27 of the TLOY Talks podcast. Today is something like very different and all that, like as opposed to like my other podcasts and all that. Today I'm actually interviewing a lot of well-known artists from this dope record label called NLMG, New Legends Music Group, and we have some of them here today right now. So state your name, guys.
Word. My name's Connoisseur Ghost. It's actually more of a collective, not really a label. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
So, yeah, it's one of those.
My name's Lowry, WW Lowry, you know.
Yeah, my name's True. That's 7RUE.
True.
Right.
So let's get it started. So which ends did you grow up in? What was it like for you growing up like in the Toronto music scene or like the GTA music scene back then? And were there any like influences like around you in that sense?
Actually, I grew up in Brampton, so a lot of my time was just, there's not really influence in music around everywhere except for like my family and stuff like that. So that's where I picked up on the music. Just listening to my family, listening to it, my dad listened to it, my mom listened to it. It was just everywhere around me. That was my influence.
True. How about you guys?
I mean, growing up in Brampton, there was definitely a lot of influence around the music scene. I grew up knowing like people like Genghis Khan, you know what I'm saying, and Genghis and Greasy, stuff like that, right? I didn't really get more into Toronto music until later on when I grew up and I actually got into the music scene myself, and that's when I started having more of an understanding of like who was within the industry and stuff like that. But yeah, Genghis Khan was the only Toronto rapper I knew about growing up and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to him.
I mean, shit, for me, I grew up in Toronto, so I kind of moved around a lot, but, like, growing up around where I, like, lived, it was, like, Ronnie was always doing his thing from when I was, like, young and shit. Like, Ronnie to, like, Puffy L's and them mans, you know what I'm saying? Like, all of them you really seeing doing their thing, so it's hard not to be influenced and be motivated by that, you know what I mean? Even mans where it's, like, all the politics that get stuck in Toronto when you see what I'm saying? You see a man from Toronto do his thing, like, it's crazy that you're, like, really someone from our city is still doing something for himself.
Yeah, most definitely. And you know, for everyone else on here, so how did you guys get into music, and what's like your musical background and history like?
For me, I kind of was forced into music a little bit by my parents because, you know, growing up, they kind of wanted to keep me off the streets and stuff like that. So I got into, like, things like musical, like piano lessons, musical theater, and that sort of stuff. So that's kind of where my musical background stems from. And then coming into actually rapping and stuff like that, that was more so after trying to help another friend out in his career and do a little 1-2 and build a studio so that he was able to do something. And then I kind of springboarded off of that and made my way into the music industry, right?
Oh, true.
Yeah.
For me, I grew up just listening to a lot of music, so, like, it started off with just, like, always listening to bare music on the back of the school bus, all that stuff, and then from there, I just started really just writing my own shit from, like, I don't know, I said, like, middle school time, so my dad started messing around a little bit with it, and then just kept going, started recording, like, 2018, took some breaks and then shit, and then last, like, year and a half, it just started going, like, full pedal.
Most definitely.
I got into it like literally the same way he did. I just got into a lot of like extracurricular things at school, like dancing. I was singing in the choir, like doing weird things. And then also just listening to music. I would just, you know what I'm saying? Just listen to music there. And that's where the inspiration would come from, to like hop in the mic and do it. And I started rapping like COVID times because like there was really nothing to do for anybody. I was just sitting inside and I just started writing in my phone, heard the beat, and it was just from there. That's just what I've been doing.
Most definitely. And what made you decide on like taking your music to like the next level, like on, you know, actually taking it as like a career in that sense?
I guess seeing like the support from other people, I was just like, you know what, I might as well keep doing this, and the support's been crazy since then.
So for me, I actually got into music just prior to COVID. So it was a couple months before COVID. So like I believe I dropped my album my first song like this summer prior to COVID, and then I actually had a situation happen at my studio where like some people came in, tried to rob the situation, whatever. And we ended up having to shut down. So I wasn't really even sure that I was going to continue making music at that point. So I kind of did a song dump and I released all my music. And one of my songs got decent amount of traction, and that kind of pushed me to continue. You know what I mean? So yeah.
For me, so I just kind of always wanted to do it. Like, since I really loved music so much and stuff, I always kind of had the idea that I would, like, do something about it, do something with music. And I always, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I never really felt like the 9 to 5 was my shit. I feel like a lot of people say that, but, like, yeah, the music, I always knew I had a little knack for it and shit. So I just kind of kept pushing at it. Now, yeah, I just always knew that was what I wanted and stuff.
Yeah, no, most definitely. No, it's very interesting to see with like how you guys like took it like in that sense too. And I don't know if you have like any like influences in terms of your sound and all that, like or like other
For
genres
sure,
that you
for
tapped in
sure.
with.
For sure.
Influences. Nipsey Hussle, huge influence. Wiz Khalifa, Snoop, obviously Ice Cube, you know what I'm saying? All the greats, you know what I mean? Tupac, Biggie. 50.
Shit, big one for me was
50.
Michael
Yeah,
Jackson.
50, bro.
Michael Jackson for sure. Michael Jackson.
Yeah, Michael
for sure.
Jackson always held it down. That was like, including business mind and like business sense, Michael Jackson had it. To walk away from Sony with like half their recording, that's you know, that's a feat.
Clever guy.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, you gotta learn from Michael.
Yeah,
For sure.
I'd say more modern day inspiration for me is like Polo G, Juice World, a lot of maybe even Justin Bieber. I watched him a lot growing up and shit. He inspired me to do a lot of like pop songs and different types of songs rather than just rap. Like use my voice to sing and use it in different ways.
yeah, most definitely. And you know, like just like in your music careers right now, like who do you guys like want to work with someday and all that, like in terms of like collaborations and such?
Shit, still 50. What do you mean? Still 50.
I'd love to work with 50. In terms of like collaborations and stuff, I'd definitely like to work with like people like Kid Laroi, Lil Mozzie.
You got it right there, bro.
Kid Laroi slaps.
we got Kid Laroi right here still.
Kid
Yeah,
Laroi,
Lil
man.
Mozzie.
Kid Laroi,
There's a few people I'd like to work with. Chris Brown. I'd love to work with Chris Brown. That'd be lit. You know
Yo,
what I'm
Bruno
saying?
Mars would be crazy.
Yes.
Allah, yeah.
Bruno Mars is a legend.
Grenade, you mean?
Stormzy would be lit. That would be a lit feature, or like, you know, to get on a project with him.
True, no,
Yeah,
most
yeah.
definitely. And you know, I want to get into the whole like NLMG thing right now. So you are like the co-founder and all that, right?
That's right.
Yeah, right.
So how was like? Tell me more about the backstory of like how the label like was like found in that sense too.
Pretty much like we met through like a performance opportunity. We all kind of just like met through the first 1-2 show. It was a lot of our like first performance. You know what I'm saying? We had that in common, and then we got like a little group chat started. I invited some of the man them out to come link up for my birthday and stuff. I talked to that person that was doing those performances so we could organize the thing to drop a song. I dropped a song, invited the man them out. We could like, you know what I'm saying, turn up for my birthday, whatever. We kept that group chat going, and then we just kind of started talking about some real serious shit, not just sitting there balling up anymore. We started talking about, yo, but like, what moves are we making? Why can't we do some stuff ourselves? And then we started doing that, and then, yo, honestly, like, it's been I would say a blur, but like, it's been a lot of stuff since then. It's pretty much just been running since then, since like, May
Show
time.
after
like,
show after show for real.
yeah.
Essentially, what we did was we created a support system that we needed. You know what I'm saying? That a lot of artists don't really have, and we became each other's support system. You know what I'm saying? So like having a similar goal and a similar focus was definitely something that was very strong in bringing us together and having us do what we're doing right now, right? Because you can't just have a bunch of people together working and they don't have a strong drive or passion for what it is that's going on, right? So yeah, that's where that came from. And then yeah, we just decided that we were gonna
make
off
some
and do
moves,
some
man.
shit.
Yeah, do some things. You're like, yo, so let's get some. We said what was it, like 100 shows. We gave ourselves like I think we're gonna do 100 shows by like September time, whatever. Pretty sure we did it too. We smashed
How
that
fast
shit.
did that
smashed it. Yeah, we
did
knocked
that
that
in
out of the
weeks.
park. Even
Yeah, man.
right down to putting on our own shows and even trying to put on for the city and make it happen for other people, right? So like we had a lot of artists that came through and they did their first performance with us, you know what I mean?
like,
And we were only just started
so
performing
many
in the last
people
year.
did their first performance
So,
with
like-
us. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's been pretty exciting.
Yeah, no, most definitely, man. And WW, I actually want to ask this question right here. So, how did you get signed to the like label itself?
Well, it's not really like a signing. Like we all kind of, it's like a collective. So like we all just, you know what I'm saying? We had the same, like they said, same mind, same drive, same passion. So we all just came together and we all seen each other, like what each other want.
Uh,
You know, we just helped
I
each other.
invited him to come out to the birthday. I was like, yo,
Yeah.
just come link up. Just
Yeah,
turn
he
up.
said,
Let's
yo,
get-
just
we
come out to the club.
we
Let's
got
just turn
lit,
up.
and
And
we were
that's
like,
just
yo,
what
man,
happened.
just sick. That was
And
it.
then it's just family vibes from there.
Yeah, most definitely. And I want to know more about like the name and all that. So it's called New Legends Music Group. So
Yeah,
tell me more about like how you guys got that name and like what the brand like means to you in that sense.
It started off with like a kind of like a different name that was kind of in a sense like paying homage to the way that we all met.
Yeah.
And we were going with like legends of fame type stuff, and then we kind of changed it around, moved it around to something a bit more like business minded and stuff. So we went New Legends Music Group, and then what I'm saying, we figured that way it could be like so many different things. It could go for us, it could go for the business name itself. You know what I mean? And it really works out, kind of
It was
umbrella
all
name.
encompassing. Yeah.
Yeah, and it really just stuck out when we said it. We were like, yeah, this just sounds like
This is it.
Yeah,
You said the name, and then it took like a couple of days. I had the idea. I put the bread behind it, and we got the logo made, and that was it. We were off.
And it was put in verses, and then
We started putting in collaborations.
shirts.
Oh
music,
yeah, bro. We
and
started
that's it.
dropping the NLMG bars in the tracks like left, right, center, crazy going off, man.
No, most definitely, guys. And I know that you've already spoke about this like briefly, like hosting shows, doing showcases. More so like working with the music and all that. But what have you got? Like, what have you guys done like for the collective to like take it to like the next level for people to see it like in a worldwide sense?
I mean, we've done some like decent openings, you know what I'm saying? Like I mentioned Ronnie earlier as like an inspiration from early. Like we got the chance to open up for him in August.
Yeah,
we get to open
did,
up for him again. It was supposed to happen just now.
We're
It's
waiting
no
to get
full
on to the next
But
road
you know
show.
what I'm saying?
We're there though, but
Yeah.
we also got an opportunity to open up for Ready Rock D. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to him.
Yeah.
We've worked with a decent couple of people in the city that have, you know what I'm saying, a name for themselves, including Century Sam. Right now we're doing some stuff and working with Spitty on some stuff and stuff like that. There's a lot of people, you know what I'm saying? Daddy Rambo, he came out to one of our
Talking about
events.
Daddy
that was
Rambo.
lit.
He held
like,
it down.
super
It was
lit.
super
Yeah,
lit. Shout out to Tara Lord. She came and blessed the stage at one of our events. Yeah, there's so many people that we've kind of touched base with and interacted with.
Yeah,
just
we met a
doing what
lot
we're
of people,
doing.
man. I've
Yeah.
had the chance to meet like Prince Don recently through like you know what I'm saying, like same thing like Team Real Estate that we mentioned earlier. Got a chance to meet him through her, Smiley, like a couple people, you know what I'm saying? So like we really got to put this NLMG thing, you know what I'm saying? I met DJ Despair recently, like if you don't know who that is, you gotta look him up, man. He's honestly behind like a lot of artists in the city. And for him to tell me that he knew who the movement was and who we were, you know what I'm saying, what we were, that was crazy.
No, most definitely, man. And it's very interesting to see too because having like MK on here and him telling his story about like the whole collective and like its story right there, it's like very interesting to see and all that. And you guys are also like a part of like that whole community too. So what have you guys like also done like even like outside of like the whole shows and like concerts? Like what have you guys done like more so like community wise?
Community wise, we've done a couple of charity events, like just trying to make sure to come out and support the event. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Keepsticks.org.
That music program.
Yeah, we're involved in the music programs, like certain music programs and stuff like that. I mean, outside in the community, we're connecting artists with a lot of management teams that have been connected with us, and we're trying to help everybody in that sense as well, right? So like anything that you need to push your music career forward, we're trying to establish a ground where you can, like a stepping stones as to where it is to follow the path to make certain things happen for yourself. Because when we started doing it, we really didn't know what the hell to do, and we really didn't know where it is that we were going, and there wasn't a direction. You know what I'm saying? So us building a direction that was outside of what it is that we knew and what it is that we saw was really the major goal, right? And then providing that opportunity to outside individuals as many times as possible. So, yeah.
Putting on for the city.
I mean, shoot, we built a whole Discord. Do we have the Discord that's popping? You know what I'm saying? You can get in contact with us about the Discord or whatever.
Yeah, we hit 100
We
people in
got-
our Discord community super quick.
Yeah, we got a lot of resources and stuff like that, right down from like grants and stuff like that we researched on how to get and acquire. If you want to make a doll for yourself or action figure or whatever, we got all that information.
We got
in the group
everything. You
chat.
want to
Any
know how to
resource
do
you
this,
need,
that?
Yeah,
NLMG
like
got it.
we went ape shit with it.
If you need any type of
Yeah,
consulting, man, you need to know how to do anything for yourself. When just talk to us, we got you.
Yeah. I want to make a quick shout out to my boy Jamie too. You know what I'm saying? 420 Levitate on Instagram. He's the one that did the logo for us and stuff. So he's actually
He's a genius on the graphics.
He's a genius on the graphics and he does his damn thing. So you know what I'm saying? Make sure to look out for him where he's doing it.
Yeah, no, most definitely. I know this isn't like on the questions, but how did you guys get your stage names in that sense?
Shit, I went through a couple of different names. I had I really started off as like True King Wavy, so that was like I just randomly made that my gram and my gamer tag one day when I was like grade 9, 10. So I had a group thing I made with a couple of my homies. I changed it to like YVM Wavy, and then I went back and I rebranded to my own solo thing. I went back with just True and I put a 7, and that was it.
For me, Ghost has been my name since I was in grade like 6, 7, because I used to pop in and out of school real quick and go home for lunch, and then when I would pop back, nobody would really notice when I was gone or some shit. So they were like, "Oh, you move like a ghost." As for the connoisseur part of it, I have a separate business that's called Kush Connoisseur Club. You know what I'm saying? I have a separate business that's called Kush Connoisseur Club. It's a clothing line and a brand. You know what I'm saying?
I thought there was a
we
Weezy
also
font
have
there the whole time.
Nah, it's just like the logo for the camera. So yeah.
right. But like, yeah, it's Kush Connoisseur Club. It's a clothing line, a brand. We do multiple things within the brand, and that's really where the connoisseur came from. It's the business. You know what I'm saying? So, Ghost is the name, connoisseur is the business.
Yeah, man.
And shit, my name's been Lowry from birth. It's actually my last name. And the WW comes from, I'm not even gonna lie, I used to play COD, and I used to have this like regiment. Yeah. You know what a regiment is in COD? And it's like your gamer tag pops up and it's just WW, and it was for the bad Wi-Fi, for everyone who had bad Wi-Fi. It's like, yo, you're connected to the Wendy's Wi-Fi? That's what it is. But I'm trying to change it off of that. Like, I'm trying to make it
Wendy's
WW,
Wi-Fi,
Wendy's
Lowry.
Wi-Fi. So
Wendy's
if you got bad
Wi-Fi,
Wi-Fi,
Lowry.
you're a WW. You know what I'm saying? But I'm trying to change it to like worldwide or, you know, some next stuff.
No,
But that's where I got it.
Wendy's
So
Wi-Fi
you
is
pronounce it as like
Wendy's.
WW Lowry or just WW Lowry?
Just WW Lowry.
True. All right,
Yeah.
man. I know you guys want to talk your shit like on here and all that. So how do you guys feel about the Toronto music scene now right now?
Trash.
Feel that-
Just kidding.
better since we stepped in, you know what I mean? What you mean?
Yeah.
Until we step
We're trying to
in.
make our noise in the Toronto scene.
Nah, but there's a lot of people move like gatekeepers within the industry and within the situation, and it's very disgusting to see how some people move. There's a lot of people who move like vultures within this industry and stuff like that, and it's also disgusting to see how they move. Shout out to the videographers who are out here doing their thing and really supporting the artists in a proper way, in a proper fashion. You know what I'm saying? Because artists are out here paying more for a music video than a wedding video. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like, I'm about to hire some of you photographers and shit like that for a wedding video. You guys show up and it's gonna be a music tape. So like, watch out. You know what I'm saying? Like, be careful.
white suit
I'm not
video,
playing.
eh?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's gonna be in suits. You're gonna be like, all right, where's the bride? Nah, she's not showing up, fam. Like, this is a whole next
Hey,
thing.
camera. We're getting some B-roll right now.
Nah, but for real though, like
Me and a microphone.
being an artist is a very difficult thing. Making money off of streams is a very difficult thing. Also, merchandise, making money off of merchandise is a very difficult thing. So the way that people try to vulture off of what it is that we got going on and what we're trying to do and trying to get out of working our 9-to-5s and, you know what I'm saying, build a life for our families and shit like that. But like I said, music industry right now is trash, but we're trying to fix that.
I mean, yeah, like you said, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things going on, like, you know what I'm saying, that's not really too, like, sick with it right now, but there's a lot of talented artists, you know what I'm saying? The game itself is super saturated. You know what I mean? There's good artists, there's bad artists, there's artists that aren't shit, but they know how to get their stuff heard, and, you know what I'm saying? So for that fact alone,
Yeah,
they're
you
going to
just
get
gotta have the
further than
marketing.
artists that are talented and don't have no
Yeah,
direction.
marketing is key.
You know what I mean? So, like, having a sense about yourself, just looking up things. It doesn't take long just to look some stuff up. You know what I mean? So, if you're an artist, bro, just look some things up that you need to know. You don't got to just ask people and find people to pay. Just look some shit up. Try to practice on some stuff. Get your shit out there. You know what I mean? That's it.
I mean, if you really want somebody to pay, I do consultations, 2-hour sessions, $120. Let me know. Link up.
Quick plug.
Quick plug.
Yeah, we do.
All I gotta say is it's shady. It's super shady everywhere.
Yeah.
Super shady.
Nah, I know what you mean. You know, more so on the videographer situation too, because I've heard the same thing from videographers. You know, complaining about like how artists like are paying like less and less, you know, for the video stuff and all that. So
Cap.
it's pretty like interesting too. Like I don't know if you know like the
That's
David
cap.
Del Rosario situation where he wanted to quit videography because of like the stuff that these like artists are saying too, like about doing it for the free skis and all that. So
Yeah, but it's not even about doing it for the free. Like, if you find yourself an artist who you're down to dedicate yourself to and work with, like, bro, for example, me, I'm down to give you a portion of what it is that I make on a record. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can do a breakdown or a deal in something like that. You know what I mean? Where it is that we're making money together forever. But certain people don't want to have those conversations, and I don't know why. But like, hey, whatever.
Nah, I mean, that aside though, like you definitely got to be able to get your change at the end of the day. But like I just say, aside from people, like, you know what I'm saying, everybody's stingy. There's definitely stingy people on both sides. There's artists that want to move stingy. There's cameramen that want to move stingy. You know what I'm saying? There's everything. But like same like you said, if there's people that, you know what I'm saying, if you can tap in, you can get a sense of how the person's gonna move with you. Once, honestly, especially if you have like a face to face with them, you can kind of get a sense of if they're how they're feeling, if they're trying to be a dickhead with you or not. Like, and you can be like, all right, cool. Here's a little change. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got to make their bread, and then bomb, like you said, give them a credit. You know what I mean? Yo, shit. Then put the money on Google Ads, bro. Get your shit. Then you get some streams on the video anyway.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like, the money runs up together. We make bread together. We break bread together. We're eating together. You know what I'm saying?
You know
We
what
sit
I'm
down
saying?
at the table and
But
we share the
we are
pot.
not calling videographers, you know what I'm saying, wrong for asking for bread for their videos.
No,
At
definitely
all.
not.
Get
You know
your
what I'm
bread,
saying?
everybody
Get your
get your
bread.
bread.
Value yourself. Value your work. You know what I mean? And do your thing.
Yeah, but just remember that people are out here. It's a hard game. We're all trying to make bread together. And you know what I'm saying? Know what it is that you're doing when you ask somebody what you're asking them. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, most definitely. So we just have these last two questions right here. So for all three of you guys right here, what are your free song recommendations from like your catalog that you'd recommend to people who haven't heard about you before or that would like to know more about you?
Shit, I have to say the one I just dropped. It's called Hey When It Rains, featuring this guy right here.
Yeah, I hate when it rains for
And
sure.
We just dropped
for
a
sure.
video. It's on the NLMG page. That's my recommendation.
Number one
Second,
recommendation.
probably LV Jacket featuring V-Lone. That's another one of our boys. That's another recommendation. And then for a solo, I'd say just anything on my tape, my EP, my solo tape. I put my heart into that, and it took me a while to, you know, drop it and put it all together. And then it got messed up when I dropped it, so yeah.
Most definitely.
For myself, one track that a lot of people enjoy, Summertime, you know what I'm saying, is definitely something that you should check
Love
out.
that one
That's always
still.
a good song, you know what I'm saying? It's good vibes, it's positive energy. Obviously, any of the songs off the recent tapes, you know what I'm saying, Can't Be Blinded by the Fame or See No Evil. And we got the Speak No Evil dropping on March 17th. So, you know what I'm saying? Make sure to watch out for all the tracks on there, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man, I say, hey, when it rains, like he said, for sure, it's got to reiterate that one. And then other than
It's a
that,
slapper.
shit, my single Drink, you know what I mean? That was right, you know what I'm saying? What's in the cup, got drink in it, you know what I mean? And then I said my track, Love Me, is like a smooth, you know what I'm saying, a little smooth vibe. And yeah, that's probably it.
Most definitely. And what's next for you guys? And where can people follow you, like on social media?
Shit, Atlanta, baby. Amen.
Yeah, I'm actually, we're actually going to
NLMG
Atlanta.
promo, you know what I'm saying?
We're going to Atlanta. We're doing some music shit out there. We're doing a show. Me and Villa and True. We're all going out there. And we're going to do our shit. We're going to network, do our thing. That's in like 2 weeks or so. But other than that, like for the rest of the year, I'm just going to try to get some music videos out and really like put my image out there rather than just like my voice and some
Yeah,
audio.
man, you finna see a whole lot of us stuff.
Yeah.
That's it.
I mean, yo, the catalog's dropping pretty much, you know what I'm saying? I got the Pandora's Box album that's featuring pretty much everybody on the NLMG group, you know what I'm saying?
Bro, hours been spent on those songs.
yeah, hours have been spent on those songs, you know what I'm saying?
Time and time, bro.
Sleepless nights have been spent on those songs.
So
Yeah, man.
that's something to look out for. That's going to be dropping early before summer. And then I got one that I'm working on that's going to be my solo project, Beware the Bad Guy. So, you know what I'm saying? Make sure to look out for that one, too.
Yeah, man. We don't had 2 studio setups in like the rooms back to back next to each other, just cooking twice at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yo, get in here,
We
do
on
a verse,
go
yo.
mode. We
Go
on
in there.
double mode. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's NLMG season, man. All season, every season, all year. You know what I mean? That's it. Look out.
We coming for your spot.
Every
Trust me.
spot.
All right, most definitely, guys. You know, thank you for coming by. You know, we got to bring the next free here, and you know, it's a pleasure tapping in either way.
Shout out to you, bro. Shout out to you.
You're saying matter.
The next free, come on by, you know. And we're back. So we have 2 new guests as well from the NLMG camp. You know, new Legends music group. So guys, just state your names and all that.
Hi, I go by Villa, and that's V!LLAH.
And I go by GreenBeans.
All right, most definitely. And WW's back as well too, just like for the
Yes,
filler
sir.
background, but it's dope either way, you
Just here
know.
to
So,
listen.
so I want to ask the both of you. So where did you guys grow up, and like what was it like for you, like when the Toronto music scene came up, and were there like any like influences around you?
So I grew up in Mississauga, so in Saga City, Clarkson specifically, and I actually, when Honey Cocaine was actually up and here in the city and all of that making noise, I actually was looking up to her. And there's one point where I actually made a line where I said, "I'm the Honey Cocaine of CLK," which was from Clarkson, and that's kind of where I kind of got that. It was really nice to see that influence, to see that Asian rapper, but yeah.
Me, I grew up in Brampton, just like Lowry and Goals. And as for this music scene in Toronto, I haven't paid too much attention to it. It wasn't until like high school where guys like Roni, Buck, Bogues, those guys were starting to come up, like the real top dogs of the underground.
Pull up in that black challenge.
Yeah.
Yo, that song.
That was a track for months.
Most definitely. And like, what were like your musical backgrounds and history like, and what made you decide on like taking you like your music to like the next level, like in that sense?
Well, I'm Filipino, so I grew up in a household with a lot of karaoke. So that was something that was really heavily influenced, especially when I was 5 years old, and my parents getting me to perform in front of family, relatives, and even strangers. So that was kind of the push from my parents. But I also grew in the love of poetry, and poetry then had led on to me writing my own raps. To then finally, being with a bunch of guys who are rapping as well, then getting me to finally, get out there and show the confidence that I can also do this too. And because it is a male-dominated industry, so.
As for me, it was kind of like the other guys. I just started off listening to a lot of music. My whole upbringing was always filled with music, playing in my headphones on the TV or something on a laptop. But then I had two like interactions within the industry here and there. Like, I did we wrote a song when I was in grade 5 for this big I don't know how to put it. It was like an awareness thing for sexism, racism, all of that. Did a concert. That was my first ever performance technically. And then growing up after that, I got into making some dubstep, and it wasn't until I reached college where I was like, all right, let me start making my own music.
Nah, most definitely. And like I know that you said like your main influence was like Honey Cocaine at the time too, like when like listening to music too. But like in terms of your creative growth, like in terms of like becoming like the artist that you are today, what were like your musical history? No, who were your artists or genres that you mainly like were influenced by, like in terms of your musical career, and who would you like to work with someday?
Well, I was very heavily influenced by the 2000s era with R&B and hip hop, and a lot of influences that I'm really heavily with is Eve, Missy Elliott, Lauryn Hill, even Nicki Minaj. I would say, I like her cadence, I like her confidence, and same with Cardi B when she comes out with these bangers and all of that. I want to also be in that, but I really just like the era of 2000s where again Missy Elliott was doing both the rap and the dance and the R&B and collaborating with other queens like Sierra, with 1-2 Step. That was definitely something that I was super like heavily influenced by, and I definitely want to bring that kind of style back. I want to bring that sound back as well.
For me, I'd say I draw a lot of I do get some influence from the R&B era because that's what I grew up on. Before I started listening to rap, it was all R&B. And then I get some techno in there because, like I said, I made those dubstep beats, so it's hard to just throw that away. And a little bit of blues on some sad boy
Gotta
stuff.
have the blues. Gotta have the blues.
Most definitely. And how did you two join like the collective in that sense?
So both of us actually were there at the very first show where we all met and did the meet and greet, and it was pretty awesome because then I remember meeting GreenBeans and I was like,
first
what?
person I met.
Yeah, it was the first. It was the first people that I was meeting in this group, and little did we know that it would ever turn out to be like this, but. Again, because we were all very like-minded and had that similar foundation of where we all kind of started, that's where it kind of grew and evolved.
It's the same thing. I can't really say much.
It's the same
She
day,
explained it
same
right
time,
there,
same
day.
performance.
True. And you're like the only like female like rapper in the collective, right? Or
Yeah, I mean, as of right now, yeah. I mean, I definitely am like part of the core foundation. Especially me being involved in this kind of group, it was something where I also had to, take maybe a step back, but also like listen out and hear what this was going to be about. And again, because it is a male-dominated industry, so it was again it was very nice to have that support, especially with the hip hop.
yeah, most definitely. And more so, it's just kind of like working hard to be at the same level like as them too. Because I know like in many cases with showcases and everything like that, like a lot of people from different backgrounds and different cultures, would have to like step up to prove like in that sense too. So, have you ever felt like it was like something that you had to prove or?
Oh yes. Oh my gosh, this is definitely an answer I would love to. Because all my life I felt that I had to always prove people wrong in a sense where again I'm small, I'm tiny, but I'm mighty. So it's one of those things where it didn't matter if it was in the school sport, a new job, and even just interacting and meeting these people in the music industry. I always felt the need to have to prove it, and I am not a person that would like to say these things. I would like to prove it in action, and I would like to show you, and that's where I get that element of surprise that people again are shocked with, where they thought that I was going to sing, but instead I came to rap and I came to show my skills, and that's where I got the respect from all the guys too, and they decided they're like let's bring Villa on board, right? So that was a lot of respect in that sense.
Holy.
Sometimes
First
the
time
mandem
we
gotta prove it when she hops on the track. Sometimes the mandem gotta come.
met. First time we met, that's how it was.
True. Nah,
She
most
did her
definitely, man.
performance before me, and I was right
Mans
after
are
her.
shy,
I was
they're like, yo.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, nah, most definitely, guys. And what does like the brand and like name mean to you, like in that sense too?
It's family, it's the business, it's the collective, it's what it is.
Everything.
Like NLMG's for life. Got it tatted on me, it is.
It's definitely a family. It's we're the crew, we're a team, and like if the only way we're really gonna get there is to be like this and be a team and really bring each other's like strengths up and challenge each other and just grow and evolve.
Oh, most definitely. What were like some things that like NLMG had done to take you guys to like the next level, like in terms of bringing it on like an international like scale, like in that sense?
Well, I would say last year was definitely a push for live performances and just getting yourself out there. So we were definitely putting like a lot of hours and time into this, and we would come back to work feeling like a zombie and have sleepless nights. But we've pushed it to a scale where, I've gotten noticed by other people as well, where I've gotten shows alone and where I've been able to bring opportunities as well and bring the team on my set and have collaboration and kind of put a name for that and show that again, it is a male-dominated industry, so it's hard to you never really see that much of whatever we're doing. But, if you ever see the Fugees with Lauryn Hill, you see Young Money with Nicki Minaj, they have a strong queen that is part of their team that, helps carry, it helps both, both sides, both ends.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, man. Like the other guy said before, we just keep working. Like last year, it was only maybe 6 months before the year ended, and we just had people hitting us up. Like we'd go places that we just walked in for the first time and have a couple people like, yeah, we saw you on the internet, saw what you guys have been doing. So that's just kind of the push we've been doing. Just keep getting our names out there in whatever way, shape, form, or fashion we can. Yeah. Be it performances, podcasts like
online
we're doing right now.
Online presence, all of that, social media.
Yeah, no, most definitely. And I did like notice the rise too, like as we spoke before with you, with Rue, with Connoisseur and all that. So it's like very interesting too, like in that sense. And this is actually like the first time like in the podcast, I just want to say this, that I've actually interviewed up to like more than like 4 people and all that. So like I had like this one interview back in like 2021 where I just only interviewed like 4 people. You guys broke the record like with the amount of people I like interviewed. So it's
Appreciate to be a part of that.
Yeah, man.
like that.
Appreciate
New
it.
record, legendary either way.
It's
know?
also
So-
our first podcast, so as a
true.
group
As
and
a
shit.
team, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow,
So
most definitely, guys. And like I think I've already asked this before with everyone else too. So I want to ask like the other questions as well too. So how do you two feel about like the Toronto music scene right now? Do you feel that there should be some changes on the direction of where the scene should go to, or do you feel like it's fine the way it is?
It super needs a change. It super needs a change. Before we all met, I was sitting there by myself for a second, and I'm like, I saw that Pressa was going like international in a sense where he was getting traction in the U.S. and more people are starting to listen. I'm like, Toronto needs more of that because there's so much talent in the city, but not enough people are breaking that threshold, and that's a problem.
it's just because the love, there's no love.
Yeah. The love only comes once you make it there,
Yeah.
Once you break the threshold on your own, that's when the city wants to start supporting you. But
And they
the
start
support
to
needs to
tune
be
in.
there before.
No one knows about the grind.
Most definitely.
I mean, yeah. I feel like at least collaboration within the city is pretty much, I would say, needed because, again, we have the talent here. It's crazy not to use the talent that we have. So that goes for producers, engineers, to, singers, musicians, all of that. Like, make a whole, like, I would,
Work
like,
together.
work together and show what Toronto can do and what the city can bring because we really do have it.
Most definitely. And even with like stuff like with Keeps It Solid, like hosting the Clubhouse series, DJ Academics, doing like the rapper interviews and like with Rolling Loud and everything else too, do you feel that there should be more, or is it like already showcasing that light in that sense too?
Sorry, do you mind repeating them one more time?
So like in the past like years and so on, all that. I mean, we've had Rolling Loud here.
Oh,
We have
yes,
had
yeah.
Keeps It Solid, doing the whole Clubhouse series with all the other rappers, and then Academics like interviewing like a lot of like Toronto artists too. So do you feel like those showcases like kind of like help Toronto like in a way too with the music scene, or do you feel that there should be like a little bit more?
They
I mean-
help, yeah, but there definitely still needs to be more because,
Yeah.
I mean, the Rolling Loud one was good, but how many Toronto artists really were put on that, right? And I don't know too much about the academic things, or the Keep 6 one, but that's a problem right there in itself that I don't know that much.
True.
Right? If there are things like that, more, it needs to get out there so the artists can hear about it more. Just bigger platforms is what we need.
Yeah, no, most definitely. And I want to get more into like your stage names in that sense too. So how did you get the name Green Bean, and then how did you get your name Villa by any chance?
So I actually was Young Villa at the time in 2019, but that's growth, but from Young Villa to Villa. But when it's spelled, it's actually all in caps, and that's LLAH to emphasis that it is in caps, and it's but the way how I do, I just find that this name had really resonate with me because my last name was actually Villacorda, so that's where the Villa kind of came in. But the H on the end gave more emphasis, and this was too prior to this. I was also visualizing and thinking about how people are gonna chant my name when I'm on stage. Is it gonna sound like Villa? So that was one thing that I had to look at in a business standpoint, and just to make sure that that was my brand, and that was the new change to Villa.
I wish I thought about that. My name is probably one of the hardest names to use as an artist, in my personal opinion, because I'd be fighting with actual food to get searched up. At least on YouTube, and on Google, you search me up,
You just see a plate.
you see food and recipes. But I went with the name, not really thinking about the business aspects or all of that, because originally I got the name Beans in high school, just from doing some dumb stuff. But it stuck, and I liked it. And then I tossed in the green there, because it's my favorite color, and I'm always rocking green. So it's one of those things where I'm like, people know me, don't know the name. But other than that, yeah.
Most definitely. And like just getting back onto the whole like Toronto scene right now, like I know for you, like being like a female artist like in the city, there's like a lot of like situations that do tend to happen as well too, like with how people tend to talk more about like with female artists like too. So how do you even like feel like in that sense too for female artists like in the city right now, just with like everything going on?
I mean, I remember meeting this one person who really kind of checked me in a sense of just hearing real raw truth and knowing how to take the criticism and how to use that and fuel it to be better. And but I find that for me, being a female in the group and just in this industry alone, I do feel that I have to work 10 times harder regardless, just because, I may not get the kind of relationships that I would get than, maybe the guys have. But I want to say shout out, though, to Honey Jam, because I was a part of it last year, and that is an actual thing for the city that, not just for the city, but Canada as a whole, but it was a all-female showcase. So it was really cool that there was something in the city at El Macombo. That's where we performed, and it was just a lineup of all amazing female artists, and I was actually the only hip-hop artist, but just to bless that stage with a bunch of other females was really great, and that was great to see that there is something like that.
No, most definitely. No, that's actually like amazing to hear and all that too. And like I also like found out your name a little bit because you were doing like the We Love Hip Hop showcase as well too.
Yes, correct.
So
Yes.
how was that like actually?
It was great, and that actually kind of bounces back with Honey Jam again. And shout out to Ebony Rowe, because she actually got me the opportunity to get interviewed with We Love Hip Hop Network prior to Honey Jam, just because I was the only hip hop artist on that set. But then it was crazy to see how all that kind of went to a full circle, where I was doing a lot of performances, and I went to OBJX, and that's where I met the To Be Famed later, and they were also a company that was running events, and that was in partnership with We Love Hip Hop Network. So it was really cool how that full circle kind of came around, and I was just grateful for that. And and I look forward to more and see where it kind of goes. But it was a great opportunity. It was really nice.
Nah, most definitely. Like, you gotta support like either way too, So I mean, for you two right now, because we've already spoke with like on like the song recommendations too. So what are your like free song recommendations that you could explain like more so like in your catalog that you would recommend to people who've never heard about you before, or people that would like to know more about you?
You can go.
Well, for a fact, I only have one single out, but I've built a whole presence within myself, and when I do perform, people do recognize these songs, either because they've seen me multiple times, or I've kind of put it in their face. But Cavity is one, and that's kind of like my entrance of who I am as a person, and it's a little bit more upbeat. But there's also another track that I have as a solo that I'm gonna drop, and it's a fun size anthem, and I'm shouting it out to all the fun size girls just like me. I want to do that kind of anthem for the females, right? So that's something I want to also be dropping off. And then I also have another track with Lowry, and that's a track called Crisscross that we're going to be performing at Atlanta.
That's a straight basketball.
And also, sorry, Top Down was also another track that I have with Connoisseur Ghost, because it actually does chant NLMG, NLMG, please do not mess with the team.
Like a super team track.
And yeah, it's
March 17th.
Yeah, and it's dropping March 17th. But that was also a song that had actually gone around on the internet, where people would tell me, oh, when is that song dropping, or NLMG, because they've seen that before me, and then they have that conversation to talk to me about it. So those tracks, sorry.
As for me, shit, I put a lot of thought. I try to put some thought into it. I'd say the first one would be "Hurt Over You" off my first released album, my second made album, but first one I actually released. It's like the intro to my love songs, heartbreak songs. It's talked about a lot of just what I was going in with relationships at the time. And then the second song I'd recommend is "Pasta," because that's one of my most hyped songs right now. It's actually a remake. I dropped it earlier, but I didn't drop it with the energy I wanted to drop it with. So when I did it last year, I put in all that energy, and the results are great. And the final song I'd recommend would be "Love Shots" off of my Heartbreak Season album.
All right, nah, most definitely. Now we gotta like tap it into like I'll put that on Spotify playlist like once I get back home and all that, you know. So either way, but like I know like you guys are gonna be going to Atlanta soon and all that. I guess you know you guys already talked about it too. But what's next for the two of you right now in terms of like other stuff going on?
Well, for me, I'm really going to focus on fan base this year. I'm definitely going to, be a more personal touch and really appreciate the fans out there because, again, without the fans, the artist wouldn't be the artist. And, that's why I feel like we have to kind of like give a little bit of love for them and, shout them out. But also, I would love to take my whole brand into a whole business level where I'm able to sell my merch and sell little things that I could, give away. And once I do get that stuff, it's, keep the ball rolling and it's going to keep going up from here.
It's gonna be a Villa Storm. As for me, I'm looking into expanding my reach performance-wise. Right now, we've been mainly performing in Toronto, which is cool and all, but the city's hard, and all the fans are always outside your city, right? Like, so we're pushing towards the East End right now, like Whitby, Oshawa, trying to get out there. I got to shout out TOG because he's really been a forefront in that movement.
Shout out Shiesty, man.
Yeah, Shiesty.
Shiesty.
And then even the West End, like Hamilton area, trying to get there. Then personally, I'm trying to put out more visual content, music videos, stuff like that. So my internet outreach is better. Fighting with food, man.
Either way,
Fighting with the GreenBeans.
True. All right. I mean, this has been like a legendary interview / podcast too. Like, new world record either way too. Like with more than like 5 people, like in that way too. So I'll definitely like remember that too.
6.
So yeah, most definitely. And you got to tap in with the group either way with any music releases, any shows coming up. Follow their page and all that. NLMG promo. You got to follow that from there. Follow all of the artists like that were interviewed on here. Like tap them in as well too, and check out the stuff and all that. And this is Josh, also known as Yashu, of episode 27 of TLOY Talks. You could see this like once it gets released too on all platforms: YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Buzzsprout, you name it too. Like wherever you can get your podcasts, like tap that in. Also, like if you could give it a review, like it'll be good either way too. And more coming for everyone like throughout the way too. More music, more everything like that. You'll definitely get like the socials like once you see it like on like the podcast and everything like that. And yeah, it's gonna be up from there either way too. So this is Josh, also known as Yashu, of episode 27 of TLOY Talks, the legendary one, signing off, man.
NLMG shit.
You're.
Yeah.
You're.